That's T-Mobile Arena. The Knights clinched their spot in the Stanley Cup Finals today. It wasn't in this building, but there will be a Stanley Cup game in this building. At least two of them. They beat the Stars in Dallas. First, second shout out to, can't remember your name, in Resorts World. Both times I was in Resorts World this year, you were there. First time we were on the same table in February. This last time when I was playing every room on the strip, we were at different tables, but we saw each other, we nodded. You were wearing the Detroit Lions hat, so shout out to you again. 18 hours and 28 minutes. That's how long it took from the first hand I played to the last hand I played. 10:41 a.m. first hand at Venetian, 5:09 a.m. last hand at Encore. 18 hours, 28 minutes. How long did I actually play? 11 hours and 17 minutes. So there is 7 hours and 11 minutes between hand number one and the final hand where I was not playing. I was in transit or something like that. Now, it wasn't all transit, and yes, this is the piece of paper I probably won't look at because I have all these stats memorized by now, but in case I forget. 7 hours, 11 minutes, you can't just divide that by 10. You know, 11 stops means 10 times I had to go to another place. It's a 43-minute average if you just do it like that, but it's not that every single time I was just going from one poker room to the next. I stopped in order to film sometimes. Sometimes I had to wait for a seat. Not every time, but sometimes I did. Ironically, not the places I thought I would need to, Mandalay and Westgate. I also had that trip to Encore where I didn't play because the list was 55 deep. So I went there, went in, went through the beach club crowd, and then had to come back out and go to Resorts World. I also walked past MGM, went to Walgreens for Goldfish, so it wasn't that all of those minutes, all 7 hours and 11 minutes, were spent in transit. If I ever do this again, which I don't think it'll ever happen, I would time, I guess, from after cashing out my first step away from the cage until when I step foot in the next poker room. That would have been interesting to keep track of how much time literally just between poker rooms, but I didn't. So 7 hours, 11 minutes between hand number one and the last hand that I was not playing poker, but not all of it was just traveling between poker rooms. So with the Luxor light behind me, I told you 11 hours, 17 minutes, lost $66. Yeah, there were opportunities. Like I said, the all-in at Caesars would have been nice to win, and that hand at Sahara where the woman didn't realize she had two pair, she was calling thinking she just had second pair on the flop. That would have been a nice hand to win. It wouldn't have been a killer day, but there were good games at Caesars, at Venetian, at Resorts, at Encore, at Sahara, of course. Mostly good games, just not a ton went my way, and at the best game in Sahara, 3 of the 4 hands I played lost, so lost $66 on the day. If you're wondering, $18.50 in comps, because this is kind of related to that first comp video where I talked to everyone in code that I don't think anyone picked up on, but $18.50 I earned. If I had played with a card at Encore, it would have been $20. I had a card for Encore/Win in like 2016. I don't know what happened to it, and I barely play there. I actually didn't have a card for Resorts World until the day I did this, which was a few days ago for me in real time, 2 nights ago. I needed to get it to park, to leave. You could get in for free. You have to pay if you do not have a card. You don't need any status, but you do have to have a card made. I didn't have one. So I played Resorts World twice in 2021. Didn't need to pay for parking, but now you do. So I went in without a card ever in my life. While I was in there, got a card made just for parking purposes. So I have $1.50 in comps, probably never use it. I mean, I'll probably play there like once a year or something, but $18.50 earned in comps, just kind of tying this back to the comp video that started this in a weird way. 3 best games, Sahara, of course, number 1 in that order. Probably Venetian. There was a guy at Venetian, this was the first stop, this was early. 3-way on the flop, there was a bet and a call, and he min-raised. It's a sizing that has no fold equity. I have no idea what the point is with the hand he had. He had a gut shot to the bottom end of the straight. So he's raising, and there's no chance the other 2 guys fold, which they don't. He ends up making the low end of the straight. On the river, 4 to a straight hits the board. He has the lowest end possible. He gets shoved on. He calls, and he's good. somehow. So it looked like he played that hand like a genius. He actually made, I think, the worst decision every single time in that hand he had a decision to make, but he won that hand and then lost many hands after that. That was a very good game. And third, Encore was good. Some big pots, a few like people that probably wandered in from the beach club area. It looked like a couple coolers, but a few very big pots. That was probably the third best game. I've been on camera enough over the past year and a half. You could just look at a pool while I talk. Three worst games, probably Mandalay, Aria, and MGM. Mandalay was just kind of weak. Aria was a very social table, but there weren't a ton of pots. Two of the players were dealers. Not that it means they're active or not necessarily, just it was very social. I've played with those guys before. Well, played with one and the other has dealt to me. Very pleasant people at the table, but not a ton of pots. And MGM was just weak. It had the promo hours, so people were getting, they had like 1 or 2 days left to qualify for the free roll, quote unquote, and it just wasn't very good games at MGM. So that about does it. Heading back down. I'm on the roof of the Excalibur parking garage. You probably know that. So I didn't say the word challenge in the other episodes of this mini-series, but this was, you know, a challenge. I wanted to hit all 11. It wasn't a sure thing. There was a lot in my control, a few things outside my control, like both times at the Win, I wasn't sure. At Encore, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to even like get into a game. I was getting very tired at the end, which is why like Aria, my second to last stop, I wasn't really even looking to change tables. I just kind of wanted the day to be over. So yeah, it's gonna go in the About section of my homepage, my YouTube channel page, under Successful Challenges. All 11 strip casinos from Mandalay up through Sahara. Played them all in one day. Played at least 1 hour each spot. Successful challenge. Not doing it again. So you know what I've thought about, which would be even cooler? Play all 17 in Vegas. It really gets lost, the fact that there are still 17 poker rooms in Vegas, because people just talk about all the ones that have closed. 17 in one city is still a lot. The thing is, what I did was difficult, and there would be 6 more to play that are nowhere near each other. That would make it tough. I also don't even know if Boulder Station gets games. I know their go-to game is Fixed Limit Omaha High. I'm aware of that. Never been there. But like, do everything I did, plus make it to South Point, Orleans, Red Rock, Santa Fe, Golden Nugget, and Boulder Station. That would be like, that would be quite the challenge. I don't know if I'm willing to ever do that. It's possible. I've thought about it though, so maybe.
Yeah, I got it at the stadium.